Yo, this is Star Child right here. I'm back with another video. This is pretty much gonna be like very few of the videos that I do on the goddamn phone, So for now, I'm just trying to clear up something, and then I'll be good. So what's up? I hope everyone is doing well. Happy full moon. Happy full moon, and also I hope you are relaxing and trying to release certain energies that are not really warranted to you so that you can start afresh as the moon actually close off like in Virgo. So we are all dealing with everything that is about mutable earth, being mutable and being adaptable to our own ways and other people ways of thinking and practicality, our own ways of seeing the way we work, on our own ways of seeing the way what works for us and what doesn't really work for us. And due to the houses, it depends on, was this working for you, or was this not, is this not working for you, and due to what you've been doing. So yeah, otherwise this video is intentionally just about this video is intentionally just about me finishing up the introduction right here. So I'm just only gonna do like one video this week, and then I'm gonna do everything professionally like next week, as I'm going through the science, because I realized that there's one thing that I need to clear off so that I know that okay, everything is cool, I'm set. So yes, right now, what I want to focus on alignments. I want to focus on alignments. I want to focus on what you call aspects, or like aspects. So I'm just gonna be very quick with this. I'm not gonna dive too much on this. Alignments are just angles. They are angles that pinpoint certain how each energy and another energy is lined up. Because if ever you see, like in a, let's say in a circle, in a full circle, in a full 360, a circle is consisted of a 360, and between that 360, the half of it is 180, which actually tells the opposition. And then the 30 is when there's a sextile, and then the 60 is when there's a trine, and then the 90 is like a square. As you already know, if ever you've done math before, you know the way we calculate like a squares. The square, that's a square 90 degrees. And then whenever you get like something that is not quite an opposition, but that is not quite a trine, and also that is not quite that is not even quite a trine, it's just misaligned, that's when you get a 150. That's an inconjunction. And then when you get like I've already covered up the sextile and the trine. And then when something is sitting straight into that point, like let's say something is sitting right into the eight degrees or whatever, like whenever something is sitting right into the position that it's in, two energies sitting on one specific location, then know that that is a conjunction right there. So yes, that's what it is. And then something that is like next to it, like I'm not pretty sure about the degree of how I can actually name it out, but it's a semi-sextile. But that's like the most important things that I'm gonna deal with. uh your sextile, your trine, your opposition, and your square, and then your inconjunction and your conjunction. The semi-sextile or the semi-square is just like something that is not really a problem, but it's not gonna be something that I focus on because we're focusing onto the bigger picture right here. So whenever I'm gonna focus on all of them. In fact, let me rephrase that. So right here, when we talk about the meanings of what these angles entail, now you can actually get to see how all these stars are angling each other right now, so that you know, okay, now this is what is it. Whenever we're talking about a sextile, that's 30 degrees. Think of one area and then it's on another area. Both of these energies right here are not the same, but they can complement each other to collaborate. So that's how a sextile actually is. It's like an opportunity to join forces so that you can create another energy. So that is it. The joining of two energies, like two different energies, to create something new, so that it can complement in some kind of way. And this is where the energy of collaboration is actually coming from. It's a sextile. A sextile is like a collaboration. That's how I'm gonna call it. It's a collaboration. And then a trine is like a 60 degree. So it's like in astrology, that's like one element, but then two different signs, but from the same tribe. From the same tribe, one element, but two different signs. So these two, like when there's a trine, there's a form of an understanding of where the energy is actually coming from. It's like an easy going flow, like sort of like a gift to understand where an energy is coming from. That's like a trine right there. It's a 60 degree. And then whenever we're going to a square, that's like a 90 degree. A 90 degree is like it's something, two different energies and two different elements, but these elements have to learn from each other in order to gain certain wisdom and knowledge. So it's like a learning process in a way, so that you can gain wisdom and knowledge in order to sustain yourself into this lifetime, so that you can expand. So the purpose of a square is for expansion, because when we go out in the world, we are learning every day. We learn new things every day, right? So this is what it is. We learn new things every day so that we can know what to do next, or so that we can know how to handle a certain situation. And then okay, now this is it. That's a square. So you learn. An aim of a square is for expansion. So that's what it is. And then an opposition calls for balance, because it's two different signs and two different elements from two opposite areas at 180. So opposites attract, right? Because of there are two different energies, right? But then these opposites cannot be the same. So they have to be understood that they are not the same. So now what's gonna happen? In order for us to join these forces, we have to understand our own differences. And then through our differences, that is when we can actually be able to correlate with each other. So it calls for balance right here. So opposition calls for balance. So an opposition is an obstacle. If ever there's nothing to done to make sure that you understand those differences, and to know how to join your own energy and different energy, and to join another person's different energy in order to combine with your own ways. Otherwise, if ever you don't balance each other out, then there's nothing that's gonna happen. So that's like what it happens. And that's another thing that you do when it comes to an opposition. You get an opposition in this life in order to know how to push out and actually go forward through that. So an opposition, I would like to also call it a rejection that needs to be handled. at the best. So that's what it is. And then whenever there's a conjunction, two signs the same, in two elements the same. So this is just like two signs. So it's double charge. It's a double charge. It's a plus and a plus, a negative and a negative, a positive and a positive. So it's like, so it depends on how it will go, because a conjunction plays like through all angles. So it can be an opposition, it can be a trine, it can be a sextile, it can be an inconjunction, it may be anything that goes, but it is a charge. It's like you charged up, you powered up. It's like your power. So that's like in conjunction right here. So whenever you're gonna hear me talking about conjunctions and stuff, that's the angling that is happening right here in astrology. That's what it means. And then whenever you get into an inconjunction, right, I'd like to call it a misalignment. A misalignment is when you miss the spot to where you was trying to shoot at. So throughout your life, you learn not to overextend yourself. You learn how to, because it's a misunderstanding also. So you learn not to overextend yourself just to prove how much, just to prove your capabilities to people or places and to things. You know, to relax yourself and know that some certain, whether or not some certain things don't need to be understood. It's just what it is. So you don't need to stress yourself if ever you are a person who has an inconjunction in your chart. So it's like a misangle at 150, like it's a misalignment. So the only way you should be balancing yourself out is to know that, okay, nah, people will just get me for who. If ever people get me, they get me. If ever people don't get me, they don't get me. It is what it is, you know. So don't go overextend just to prove your capabilities or what you are in a position and what you are meant to be in a position. Chill out. So that's what it is. And then a semi-sextile, it's like it's like minor, like it's like a minor. Nothing is, these are two different elements, but they're close to each other, so they can understand each other. It's like, you know, it depends on how you handle them. So let me call a semi-sextile as like a transition. It's a transition. So you kind of see what you need. You take this step to another step. It's a transition of how much you want to push forward into the next step. And you know that you have to utilize the next energy to put yourself into a new perspective whenever you're stuck into the past, whenever you're stuck into a same routine. So that's what it is. Shout out to the shout out.